Welcome. I'm Halcyon and this is Hug Nation. Today I want to talk about the future or role modeling for our great 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 grandkids. A few things have inspired me to be thinking about the far future. One is that I've been reading some science fiction books, The Three-Body Problem, Dark Forest, and Death's End, a trilogy by a Chinese author. These science fiction books, I saw them listed on Barack Obama's must-read list, and to have Chinese science fiction recommended by the leader of the United States seemed like a worthy investment of my time. So read Three-Body Problem, and now I'm in the third book, Death's End. And it's really cool sci-fi, a lot of science. I don't know how accurate the science is because I ain't no scientist. I know that gravity works because I keep falling down. Other than that, my science mind is withered. But the book is about very far future things. It starts in the 1960s and then through hibernation type, situations, they keep waking up into different periods of time into the future. And they have to make policy decisions and government ideas and philosophical questions having to do with far future scenarios. Now, the book has to do with far future scenarios having to with interactions with other cultures from other galaxies or other solar systems, excuse me. But it got me thinking about life farther away than I can imagine. I should say farther away than farther away than I can imagine. I can barely, get my head to go back to a time before photographs, which is probably telling. And to think into the future from now, if you are in the future watching this archive to try to decipher our culture, it is currently 2019. It's almost 2020. And how poetic that you are looking in hindsight 2020 at us as we approach 2020. I'm sorry. And so one of the things that have been inspiring me to think about the far future is these books and the kind of quandaries that come up when you're trying to make decisions about resources and about politics and about generational ideas. And also making plans that potentially are multi-generational, i.e. taking on a building project, an engineering thing of creating some technological thing, and you start building it before you have the technology that you'll need to finish it, and it will take decades and decades of technology, as we know currently, is a lot. Also, when you think about 100 plus years of history, especially when you have time sped up and a global world and the destructive nature of our technologies, we could have all sorts of collapses and dark times and, rise and falls of empires and technology and all that stuff. So one, thinking about that. And then the other thing is thinking about the now and thinking about the political climate today and thinking about the cultural climate today. And I've found, and tell me if you have fallen into this trap of being a little discouraged at times. Whether it is the news or Twitter or Facebook or conversations as you pass neighbors, it's hard, I think, to not get pessimistic about current trends. I saw something online today which was comparing the state of the world now with the fall of Rome and empire, and how many elements of collapse we seem to be really in the thick of right now. And that reality even if it is a pessimistic reality, as an acknowledging that there's so many wonderful things while these negative things are happening. In the crapper cone worldview, there are laughing babies, there are creative brilliance, there is scientific progress, there's so much amazing things happening, there's so much love happening, and there is some darkness and some frustration and some trends that are alarming, whether that be ecological or democratic, and it's hard not to be feeling that. And so I have found that frustration and that discouragement, and I've found that creeping into elements of my day-to-day tone. So current now feeling discouraged, and sci-fi making me think far future, and this kind of like haze dissipated as I started to think. I can't think too positively about the next 5-10 years. But what if I just imagine or allow myself to be 100, 200 years in the future, and just, I don't know what's going to happen, but way down the line, what would I like my mark to be? Is there anything positive that I could do now that could be a role model event, a push in the direction of positivity that may or may not, who knows, mean something in the far, far future? And I found that to be motivating. I found that to be like, even if the world, I don't feel like I can make much impact on the environment right now, that maybe there is still a powerful potential benefit to living in integrity and being kind and making a ripple of goodness. And those ripples could be dormant for 50, 100 years. And yet, as they are touch individuals, as they touch systems, as they touch people, that over time, those DNA of culture could, even if they're dormant through tough times, will be there, and those ripples could mean something generations from now. And I'm not saying that to resolve or absolve myself from responsibility for activism in the now, more so to relieve the "it doesn't matter" virus, or "what's the point" fog that can, I think, get oppressive and sometimes make me want to crawl in bed or eat another bag of M&Ms. Man, speaking of M&Ms, I've been doing really good at not eating just really bad food. I've been binging on like frozen grapes, which, I'm going to say I can forgive myself for that. Or eating an entire bag of salted almonds. That's too many almonds, but it's almonds. It's not a whole bag of Doritos. I did slip this weekend, and I just was like, I'm getting myself some peanut butter M&Ms. And I go to the store, and they've got like a little bitty bag for like $1.70, and then they had this huge bag for $3.50, and 2 bags for $5. And so now I'm in this mathematical quandary. I can't bear the thought of wasting so much money on the little bag, although that's all I really want to eat myself. But I end up getting a big, it's like the sharing size it's not sharing with one person. If you look at the number of servings, I think it's like share with your kindergarten class. And I get the peanut butter one, and I'm like, I can't get 2 pieces, and then I get pretzel. So I've now got 2 sharing ones, and I can't believe I'm admitting this. And driving home with these, and I open them both. And I will tell you, if in that moment, I let go of the shoulds and I let go of the guilt, and I was loving it. Oh, it was, you know, there's some things, you know, in the moment, you know, looking back, you go, maybe I should have used protection with that, you know, that escort that told me that they had an intravenous drug problem. But in the moment, it was beautiful. That's kind of how I felt eating these bags of M&Ms. It was perfection. I still have half a bag of the peanut M&Ms in my car. I did not bring it inside, although I'd be lying if I didn't say that I have thought about getting them about 6 times. In fact, an hour ago, I was like, maybe I should just have a handful of M&Ms before Hug Nation. Maybe that would be okay, right? But I didn't. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. So little bitty choices in the now moment. Who knows what kind of ripples they have on the future. Celebrate those little wins. Celebrate the not eating the M&Ms. Celebrate the moments of kindness, the standing up for yourself, the little bits of exercise or healthy living or healthy communication that you do. And even if in a world that right now feels like, what's the point? Maybe holding on to that unknown power of the sum total positivity, it can be a reward that keeps us on track. At least that's what I'm playing with that now. And if living in a science fiction novel is what it takes, then beam me up, Scotty. I hope your life is science fiction in a Jetsons way and not in a Terminator way. I love you. Thank you. Happy Hug Nation. Hey, you again. Thanks for watching. If you could hit the like button, it would make me feel really good. And if you hit subscribe, then you'll know when the next videos come out, which is, well, spoiler alert, a week from now. Please.